Hello, everyone. Thank you for being present here today. Welcome to the DevOps Essentials for SAP BTP workshop hosted by ReleaseOwl. So here's what you can expect in the next 90 minutes. We'll start off with a brief overview of ReleaseOwl as a company and the ReleaseOwl success community. Then we'll follow that with an overview of the Cloud DevOps Professional certification that is to do with SAP BTP. We'll then move on to an overview of SAP BTP itself and DevOps Essentials for the same. After this, we'll be moving into the hands-on workshop where our expert will guide you through each section of the certification and through our platform. And we'll also help you understand how to take the certification exam and how you can access the ReleaseOwl playground for yourself so you can get some hands-on experience. To introduce you to the speakers for today, first we have Niranjan Gattupalli, who is the founder and CEO of ReleaseOwl, with nearly 2 decades of experience in DevOps and SAP. As a firm believer in the power of DevOps, he strives to further the DevOps movement into the SAP space using ReleaseOwl, a native DevOps suite designed specifically for the SAP platform. And then we have Rahul Pipala, who is from the product management team, with a flair for pre-sales. In addition to having a rich understanding of SAP, he is also skilled at developing solutions as well as organizing, planning, creating, and delivering compelling proof of concept demonstrations. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Niranjan now.
Thank you, Tanya. Next slide, please. So, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining a session to discuss and understand about SAP BTP DevOps and how we go with ReleaseOwl. And eventually, after this, you have an option to get certified as well. And the response that we have got for this workshop underlines the importance of the success of BTP as a SaaS platform from SAP and the adoption that it is having right now across all the major SAP implementations is very good to watch. So ReleaseOwl, to keep it simple, is a native DevOps platform that is designed for SAP. So when I say native, it is built on, we are one of the early adopters of SAP BTP and one of the first applications built on BTP. We are certified by SAP and we are available on the SAP store as well. So what ReleaseOwl does, be it ECC, that means we are talking about transport management, transport retrofit, transport of copies, all those transport management activities, or your CPI, which is high flows, value maps, to BTP, which is about the Git and the MTAR applications. ReleaseOwl is one platform that has support for automated packaging, deployment, static code analysis, testing, and compliance for all these editions of SAP. Next slide, please. So not just a product, we always believe, somebody who's been in DevOps for 20 years now, I'm a strong believer of not just building a great DevOps platform, but also building a great DevOps community, because it is a community that drives the vision of the platform. So what we have in this community is Self-Learn Academy. Our complete product documentation is online. Anybody can go through various things on how we do various aspects of ReleaseOwl. Then we have certification for multiple levels of certifications, I should say, for the ECCS, for Hana, DevOps, the BTP, and CPI. We are taking one step at a time. We had one excellent workshop last month for the ECC and the transport management side of it. Now this workshop we are doing for BTP. This is first level. I'll go through those details. What is it that part of this workshop, this certification? And then we have CPI coming forward next month and followed by the advanced certifications as well. So we have our support system completely online. And we are building a discussion forum. Again, discussion forums are driven by the community. Next slide, please. So what does this certification enable? So BTP is fast flowing. And there will be very soon most of you are already in the BTP practice, started with some applications, but it will be on a big scale as we get into next year or so. So naturally, when application development is at scale, what is important is how do we do DevOps. So what you see in the certification is understand the aspects of how do we create MTAR bundles? How do we actually do DevOps on SAP BTP? So we create build pipelines, run the static code analysis, see the coding errors. Then we create release pipelines, deploy them into various sub-accounts. And then ReleaseOwl also has a change management module. So if the customer is already having Jira or ServiceNow or Azure DevOps, that is fine. Even if the customer doesn't have any of them, you can still create with our rudimentary change management module, you can create backlogs, sprints, and user stories. So just to touch base, I know you are more techies than us in terms of the BTP as a platform capabilities. So be it the data management, be it the application development capabilities, completely SaaS-based, cloud-enabled, in line with the cloud-first strategy of SAP, be it with the analytics that bring a lot of insights into decision-making, and the more advanced, the intelligent technologies, the AI and IoT that SAP is bringing to the table. So BTP is the forefront of the innovation from SAP, and all the things that are latest are available on BTP today. So the very fundamental to doing DevOps on BTP, as seen from SAP, is the Cloud Transport Management Service. You might have heard about STMS, the Transport Management Service, which is for your S/4HANA or ECC for creating transports, releasing and importing transports. So for the BTP side of it, or the cloud enablement side of it, there is Cloud Transport Management Service. So where you can set up a transport route and set up your landscape saying, this is my QA, this is my UAT, this is my prod. And once the developer does some changes, can push the MTAR as a transport into this landscape, into this cloud transport management landscape. And from there, the transport can be imported from SAP CTS module into various sub-accounts. So if you are familiar with TMS, CTMS should be straightforward for you to understand. In addition to CTS, there is also CTS Plus, wherein they have brought in an integration between Char, which is a more of a hybrid solution, where you have some application building happening on-prem, and then you have some changes on BTP that you want to bundle together and deploy. So they have brought in an integration with Char with CTS Plus, that is what we call hybrid solution. But that is also centered around CTMS. The good thing of CTMS is once you make a change, create your transport, push it as a transport into the landscape, it will go through the route and then get deployed into various sub-accounts. But one challenge that you might get is if you are into more modern development practice where you want to maintain a branch for every sub-account separately, where you work in your development branch, push them, and then merge the changes which are approved into your QA branch, and then do a direct deployment from QA branch into QA account, and then merge to master branch and deploy, which is more like how we do a more typical Java projects of the world. In that case, where you need to be able to cut various stories from between various QA, UAT, and prod, then CTS might not just be fully enabled for that, because the moment you upload a transport, it's done. From dev, it just goes through the route and gets deployed. So that is where from ReleaseOwl, we have brought in both solutions for the customers. Next slide, please. Yeah, before we talk about ReleaseOwl, it is important that since you are here to understand about BTP DevOps also, not just ReleaseOwl. So there are 3 options for you to start with BTP DevOps. There is Project Piper that you might have heard or seen. It uses pre-configured Jenkins pipelines. You can do SAP BTP there. You can do GCTS with ABAP, and you can do Steampunk, or I don't know if they are using the word Steampunk still, or ABAP Cloud, keeping it simple. So Piper has rich capabilities. So if you are a geek who are into Jenkins and configure them, and the challenges with this is it constantly gets updated and we have to keep maintaining it. And over a period of time, the challenge that will come is who will own it up. The champs who will initially roll out will have to continue to maintain it, handling all the updates that happen to Piper. But that is there for you to download the image and then start setting things up. Then SAP has CI/CD, which is what I was talking about, continuous integration and continuous delivery service, which internally uses the cloud transport management. So you can set up your landscape configuration there. You can connect your accounts, set up your transport route, and then from Business Application Studio, you can upload the transport into this CI/CD service, which has the landscape defined, and it will take care of the deploying those or releasing or importing those transports into various accounts. Third is, of course, ReleaseOwl, which is the product that we have built. So where you can define your own build pipelines, your own release pipelines with few button clicks. And then it supports both the cloud transport management service, means if you're following traditional SAP model where development is done, push it, and after that, no more changes, just keep deploying to various sub-accounts. Yes, that is possible. Or if you have a situation where you have a development branch, QA branch, and a master or UAT, n number of branches, or you may have feature branches also for user stories. You work on your feature branches and then commit them and deploy them into your dev sub account, verify it, whatever stories are approved, you merge into your QA, deploy, and you merge them into master, deploy. If you want to go for more pure play, branching driven build and release pipelines, ReleaseOwl has it. And it has capabilities for on-prem, BTP, CPI, ABAP with GCTS, and ABAP cloud runtime as well. So how to set up ReleaseOwl? We have the docs at releaseowl.com, completely online. Each of these step-by-step links are also provided for you, where you can start setting things up in your free time and become the BTP champ in your own teams. So how does it work? So we have a CI/CD server. You have Git, and then there is mtar archive, which is your artifact. So developers typically work in Business Application Studio or Visual Studio Code, push their changes into Git, and then the CI/CD server, whether it is Piper or SAP CI/CD or ReleaseOwl, will create that mtar archive, and then you deploy those mtar archive either through CTS or individually with the direct MTA deploy command. You can deploy them into various sub accounts. So what ReleaseOwl has, you have integration with Git, out of the box integration with Jira, Azure DevOps, and ServiceNow. If you want to really maintain a proper structured release management practice, where you have the user stories coming in from Jira, and then you have the commits done for each of these stories, and then you merge whichever are approved, and then you deploy, and it all gets updated back into your Jira. And say before production deployment, you want to have a change request from ServiceNow, and only once it is approved, then you want to deploy to prod. So ReleaseOwl has complete out-of-the-box integration with Jira, Azure DevOps, and ServiceNow. After deployment, if you want to run automated tests like HCL OneTest or Tosca or Selenium, whichever tool you want to run, you can run this automated test as post-deployment step. And then you have change log that gives you complete details about what changed in this particular build. And you also have a Git commit tree where you can see the complete set of commits done, and you can associate those commits to various user stories. Yeah, something like this, which I was talking a while ago. There is user story. Then there is user story that you have from Jira, and then developer pushes those changes, and then the build part in ReleaseOwl checks out from Git, runs static code analysis, sends it for peer review, builds the artifact, keeps it available for future use. And once code review is complete, it will allow deployment into the integration environment. And then you can have QA approval. Once approved, it can be deployed into QA and run your automated tests, run your change control board approvals, and you can deploy it into prod. So all this, what you see, is what we will experience in the workshop as well. So more clearly, so we'll talk about a couple of use cases that we will run through. Then we'll see how do we connect our Git repositories. And then we will create a pipeline, build pipeline. We will create a release pipeline. It hardly takes 2 to 3 minutes to create this. And then we run our build pipeline, get the package built. And then we see the Git commits as well, associate them to stories. And then we run the release pipeline, see the deployed, and then that will be the end of the workshop. So what will be the prerequisites for you to run the workshop by yourself, or to run this, to run a prototype for you in your own company for your own applications? One is Business Application Studio. I believe this you have. One is a BTP account and a GitHub account, a ReleaseOwl account. If you want to experience it with ReleaseOwl. And then we also have a demo repository in case if you don't want to play around on your main Git repositories. We also have a GitHub that you can fork and you can use it as well to play around. And one thing that we are doing, since after when we have a workshop for you, it is important that you experience and you understand and you learn. So the playground is available for you for 3 months. After this workshop is done, to experience and to gain more knowledge of BTP DevOps and to get certified. So you have ReleaseOwl absolutely free to use, fully enabled ReleaseOwl for BTP. Next, please. Yeah, at this step, I will take a step back. I will let Rahul go through various aspects. Again, in terms of scoping, see, we don't want the session to be overwhelming. If you are excited about what ReleaseOwl does and want to get your first hands-on, we'll try to keep this session focused on creating build pipelines, creating release pipelines, And once the changes are pushed into Git, how do we deploy? How do we package? How do we deploy? We'll limit this session to this. And as you get more hands-on, probably we can have advanced level in terms of how do you integrate with Jira or Azure DevOps? How do you run your automated tests? So that will be a part of level 2 certification that we will have. So probably I'll take a minute pause before Rahul sets things up. If there are any questions that I can attend, I hope we are making sense and in line with the expectations of why you are in this session. I'm happy to take 1 or 2 questions. Yeah, 3 months. And second question, second level, when it will be, we will send the schedule to you. If you see, we have got around 75, 80 registrations, and we split this into multiple sessions now, because more than 20, 25, it won't make a lot of sense. We will not be able to cover a lot of questions, and the team will not be able to get the certifications in. So that is why we have broken this workshop into multiple sessions. So we have CPI coming up most likely in the after Sapphire around May 4th. And just if any of your company is visiting Sapphire, we are hosting a happy hour at Orlando. So we will be happy to see your colleagues meet us there as well. So yeah, I have probably in the first week of June is when advanced BTP will be there for those who completed the level 1 certification. But I'll let the events team coordinate those things. Any other questions before I move on? So 2 questions, very important questions. Thank you. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, that was great insight about the platform engine and about the BTP, what SAP has provided so far till now. So let's move on to the demo, not the demo, but the workshop for the certification that we are going to build for you all. So once you have, please share your email ID so that we can register you to the platform. Once you register to the, once you provide us, we will provide you with the project where you can start working on with your registration of environments and start working with your solution, how you want to use the ReleaseOwl. So to start with, just see, let's see how we can use the ReleaseOwl platform to register your sub account into the ReleaseOwl and start using it out. To do that, we have to register your credentials into the ReleaseOwl for your respected accounts. So either it can be a Jira where you just need to register your Jira credentials, where it will communicate with your Jira so that you can fetch your sprints and user stories into the platform. So this is a simple configuration where you can just simply use your username and API token if Jira has provided, and then the URL. So this is how simple it is to register your Jira credential. Then we can register our Git credentials. So Git credentials where we'll be able to communicate with your Git repositories to create a checkout and create a build on the checkout. We have then you can register your BTP account credentials. So this is where you can register your BTP credentials so that we will have the access to your platform to deploy the artifacts or the builds that you have created so far. So this is the place where you'll be registering your credentials related to your different accounts. Once you register, we'll quickly move on to registering your SAP environment or BTP account here. So this is a simple steps where you can just let me go through and just edit it. So this is where you can simply register your BTP accounts, sub accounts. Just provide the account name and the region in which it has been hosted and the API endpoint. So this API endpoint will be available at the sub account level. Once you provide this, then just it will pop the credential that you have registered already will be available under the credential name in the drop down. Once you just select the credential, then it will automatically select the organization and the dev space that you want to work with. So this is how you can register your environment. So once you register your environment, you will be starting working on your project. So let's quickly switch to the project view. So everyone, once you register, once you get registered into the result, you will be assigned with a project where you will assign your environments under the project. So in the environments, in the project settings of the project, so here we will be adding the environments that you have registered and on which you will be working on. So development account is the source and account where you will be deploying your source code first, and then moving it to your quality account and then your production account. So far and so forth. Then we have the users. This will be a place where you'll be adding the users who are associated to the project. And we have the integration. So here we'll be integrating with the ALM tools like Jira, ServiceNow, and Azure DevOps. Here we have integrated with the Jira. This is a simple configuration. Depending on which ALM tool that you want to integrate, you can do it in the integration section. So let's go ahead and see how we can create a build on the changes that you make and commit to the Git repository. And then we'll create a build, we'll check out that change and create a build on top of that change, and then use the release pipeline to deploy our change. So let's quickly go under the build section, where we'll be creating a build pipeline for your individual projects. So let's quickly create a build pipeline. So let's say workshop demo. And you can also group, and there might be a number of projects that you're working on. So you might want to group your build pipeline where you can add labeling. So it will allow you to group your build pipelines. So we have out of the box linkage with the report type like GitHub, Bitbucket, and SAP. Let's select the GitHub and let's select the credentials that you have registered earlier. So what it will do is it will pick all the repositories available under the GitHub and pop it out over here on which you want to work. So let's select one of the repository where you want to create a build and deploy it into your cloud account. So this is my repository that I'm going to work on. Just select the repository and select the branch that you are working on or on which you want to create the build. Then the builder, which is an MTA, multi-target archive. Then we have the scheduler. So in the scheduler, we have three options available. One is manual, one is schedule, and one is webhook. So manual, once you select a manual, you have to trigger this build manually. Then we have a scheduler. Once you select the scheduler, you can schedule the time accordingly. And this build will trigger in a repetitive cycle at that particular time. Then we have the webhook implementation. Let's say developer commits his changes to the repository. So enabling the webhook, what it will do is it will trigger the ReleaseOwl platform. And once we get a trigger event, then we will automatically trigger this build pipeline and the build will be created. In a similar manner, you can also enable the ALM configuration. So enabling this ALM configuration means with the webhook, let's say you want to trigger a build depending on your Jira status updation. Let's say you move your Jira story to your ready for QA or ready for development or such kind of thing. If you move your Jira story, then it will trigger the build pipeline on the webhook that we have implemented, and then we will create a build depending on the event that we have triggered. So these are the configurations that are available under the webhook. So let's quickly select the manual. And if you want to intimate any third person, about the execution of the build pipeline, then you can add the email IDs so that they can be notified for the execution of the build pipeline. So if you are okay with everything, then we can quickly go ahead for the 8th step. And we have out of the box integration with the SonarQube. So you can select the SonarQube for your static code analysis. To do your static code analysis, you can enable this feature or you can omit this. If you have your own SonarQube at the organization, that can also be integrated out of the box. So once you're okay with everything, just simply save this so that we will be creating the build on the build pipeline that you have created. So this is how you will be creating a build pipeline. And let's see how we can, once the build pipeline has been created, the build has been created, how you can deploy your application using the release pipeline or orchestrate your release process. So there's a release, under the release section, we have a release pipeline section. So where we'll be creating the release pipeline to orchestrate your flow, how you want to deploy your application, multi-target application. So let's quickly create the release pipeline. And provide the pipeline type, which is an MTAR by default. And here you will be associating this release pipeline with the build pipeline that you have created. So this is the build pipeline that I have just created. Just select this. And then we can go ahead and create stages. So stages is something that where you will be defining a workflow, how you want to deploy your application to individual accounts. Let's say you want to create a process for the deployment of your application into your dev space, then you create a workflow for your dev space or your integration account. Then with respect, similarly for your QA environment and your production environment. So let's quickly create a stage, let's say development, or I can say it as integration account. And okay, so here I will be defining my flow, how I want to deploy my changes to my deployment account. Let's say I want to have an approval process prior to a deployment where I can do a peer review. So I can quickly have a peer review in it and assign a user who is going to approve this task. So what it do is it will make sure that once the person approves this task, then it will move to the next task, which is a deployment task that I'm adding. So let's quickly select, and here we'll be selecting in which account I want to upload or deploy my application, which is my dev account, as it's a dev stage. And also we have an option where you can upload your application to the cloud transport management. So by selecting this, it will allow you to go ahead and integrate with your CTMS directly, where it will upload your application to the cloud transport management, and then from there you can move your application. But for now, we'll unselect that and we will go ahead and deploy it with the help of ReleaseOwl. Then we will have the user story updation task, where it will update your user story, which are associated to the commits that we make, and update to the status. Let's say my next stage is QA, then I will select a QA and we are good. So in the similar manner, I will create for my QA environment, for an example, the next stage. And under the QA stage, in a similar manner, I will go ahead and add few of these tasks. I'm assigning it to myself so that I don't have to switch between accounts when approving. Then a deployment task. Let's quickly go ahead and have a deployment task for the QA environment. QA. And not only that, you can also attach the extension, MTI extension files when if you want to add it while deploying. So we have given a quick attachment where you can add your attachment. So this is an QA extension file, MTA, where you can upload it. So that will take care of extending these MTA extensions while deploying. Once it is done, then I will quickly go ahead and simply add the user story updation task. And let's say prod ready. Now in the let's go ahead and quickly create the stage for production as well with a similar flow with the simple steps.
If we are just keeping the test automation part and ServiceNow part out of this scope because you may need to replay this webinar again, just in case if you want to practice. We also have documentation of these steps, which Rahul will walk you through. But that's why we have not, as I told, we take one step at a time in terms of the education and letting more members be part of the community. So that's where in this particular session, we have not integrated the test automation part.
So this is a task where you can add your test suits. So if you have integration with the HCL OneTest, Tosca, or Tricentis, you can integrate your test suits into the ReleaseOwl. And once you integrate this, you can execute those test suits using the test execution task. And you also have a caller task where you can invoke an external system, for an example, ServiceNow, where you can create change requests directly from the ReleaseOwl itself. Once the cap approval is done from the board, then you can come over here and ReleaseOwl and approve this task, and then it will move to the next step. So this how these two tasks will be able gives you a high level where you can create the change request in ServiceNow and execute the test suits with the help of test execution task. So here in the end, I'm just adding a manual task where IT guys can do their IT checkouts and business team can do their business checkout. Let's add another manual task for business checkouts. And then in the end, I will just update my user story to the state. Once everything is done, it has been deployed in the production, and I will state my development is done and deployed. My user story is completed. So once you are okay, you can go ahead to the next stage. So we have a schedule for the release pipeline as well. So where you can manually trigger the release pipeline or on successful build. There are two options available. So on successful build means, so once the build pipeline is triggered and build is created, then if you select on successful build, it will automatically trigger your release pipeline and deploy your changes to the environment that we have registered under the status. Then we have, let me select the manual, the email notifications, where if you want to intimate any third person about the execution of release pipeline, you can add the email notification, we'll notify them. Let's quickly save this. And we are good to go to deploy our changes now. So let's assume that developer has been assigned with an user story. I have already integrated with the Jira, so I can fetch my user stories from the Jira platform into the ReleaseOwl. So here you can see the Jira story is already available. So developer has started working on his changes and made his changes. So let me go to the Visual Story VS Code and let me make few changes and upload it to my repository where I have hosted. Just give me a second.
Is it different from Cloud ALM chart? Yeah, this is great. I will answer this. It's an excellent question.
Let me quickly change this and also commit my changes. So there's a good feature available at ReleaseOwl is that you can actually tag your commits that you make under the change to the user story directly from the commit message itself. So you can just add the ID hash ID, and with the hash ID, just provide the user story ID in the commit section or the commit message, and we will tag all your commits that are under the user DP74 to the user story. So you will have all the commits made under this user story available at the user story level. You can add this ID anywhere between the message. We'll pick it out and add it to the user story. I will show you once this build is done. Let me quickly go ahead and commit this. So I made change. The changes are getting pushed to the Git repository now. Once it is done, then we can quickly go ahead to the ReleaseOwl platform and trigger my build. So what it will do is it will take all the changes and create a build from the previous build. So let me quickly go ahead and trigger the build pipeline that we have created. So the build pipeline has triggered now.
Meanwhile, we can go through the documentation.
Yeah.
So
it will take.
So while you do the certification,
Yeah.
or while you prep for the certification, this documentation will be completely available for you. So whatever is discussed, please go through on the clicks.
So
Credential management,
here we have in the documentation section where you can see each and every part of the platform. So it's a quick view place where you can see the documentation and go work with the platform directly. So under the credential manager, you can see how you can register your credentials for your different accounts. And under the cloud environment, how you can register your cloud environments or sub accounts into the platform. Then we have the working with the build pipeline for your static code analysis. Is what are available at the build pipeline, static code analysis, the change log analysis. How can you download your artifact? So everything is available at the documentation. So you can quickly go ahead, walk through this, and simply walking through this, you can create the build and start utilizing the platform out of the box.
Maybe you can go through the release pipeline documentation section also.
Yeah. So under the release pipeline section, you can see how you can create a release package. This is for another thing. Just let me go to the release pipeline directly. Yeah. So under the release pipeline here, you can see the approval process, how you can create an approval process, automated transport import, or your deployment process for your application.
Yeah, below that you have the emitter.
Yeah. We have the entire application deployment, how you can create an entire deployment task. Yeah, here we have. And if you want to go ahead and upload it to the cloud transport phenomenon, how you can do it. So everything is available under the documentation section where you can go through and read this document and make sure use this documentation section, online platform documentation for your practice. Then we have task types, different task types. As we can see, different tasks, the call out section where you can create a change request. These are different tasks that are available. So it is where you can come over and look at the documentation. So let's go to the platform and see if the build is ready. Click your refresh. Yeah. So now the build is done. And under the build, you can see the change, the build changes. As it's an initial trigger, you might not be able to see the changes, but from the second time onwards, you will have all the changes that are being committed to your platform. So now let's see, you can also download your artifacts and to see your SonarQube details. So static code analysis, you can quickly go to the SonarQube section. Under the report, you can find the bugs, vulnerabilities, code smells, coverages, and duplications. Not in that, we provide the link where just simply clicking on the link, it will navigate to the SonarQube and where you can see your static code analysis in detail.
Yeah, this is handy, especially for the teams who are developing front-end code on cloud, be it with Fiori or the other technologies for building it. It is very important for developers to have these tools in hand. That's why in the DevOps world, I always say that it's not just about giving responsibility for developers. It is also about giving power to developers to get it right, not just giving them a responsibility to get it right. So that's where with shift left and DevOps, with the developer tools associated with them at the time of commit and before they actually submit it for review, it greatly helps them to ensure that everything is intact according to the enterprise standards. And the leads will now focus on not the obvious things, but more complex dependencies and more critical aspects of review. Yeah, go ahead.
That's it. Once the build is done, you can quickly go ahead and deploy your build with the help of release pipeline that you have created. Before that, we can see all the commits that are under the build that you have created. So I have just have a sample where I have already committed and triggered multiple builds, so that you can see under the build which commit is available, are made, and to which user story it got associated. So let's quickly see if we have any commits. Yeah. So as it's an initial commit, it's we are not able to see the commits under the commit section. Let's quickly go ahead and execute the release pipeline. And this was the one. This is the build. Let's say it's a sprint one that you are triggering.
You can select the build number also. Suppose your team is building multiple commits, multiple builds in the dev environment, and let's say build 20 is approved for QA, but you can continue building more. And build 20 can be given for deployments. So you can choose the build number as you want in the which build to be given for the release pipeline.
So here, as we have defined the release pipeline under the development stage, it's waiting for a peer review. Peer review can go to his My Task section, and under the My Task section, he can see what he's going to approve. As there are no comments available, just quickly we'll approve this, as it is an initial workflow. Let's go ahead and see my deployment has triggered now. So it will take some time to deploy your entire application to the account that you have registered in ReleaseOwl.
Yeah, meanwhile, I think there's a question that I can take.
Yeah.
In fact, there are multiple questions actually. So one, how is it different from Cloud ALM Charn? Yeah, so see, Cloud ALM is an initiative from SAP for the cloud first application. You can minimize this screen. So it has with cloud transport management, you will be able to, and then with hybrid solution where you can integrate CTMS plus with Solman to get some of the transports being deployed. But what it means is, for on-prem, you need to have Solman. For the cloud ALM, you need to have the SAP CI/CD service, and you need to build the bridge between both all these systems together. Can you do it? Yes. But if you look at Cloud ALM, the number one, ReleaseOwl has it all as a single SaaS platform for your transport management or your CPI, BTP, whatever. So we have it's single suite that has everything. Compared to where you need to have Solman plus Cloud ALM together to achieve some of this. That there is no infrastructure, no installation, no setup required. With ReleaseOwl, it's all built in out of the box. Second is your extensibility. Cloud ALM has capabilities with integrating with Charm and all that, you can be able to deploy some changes. But does it have integration with your tool chain, like your Jira or like your ServiceNow? You have to build it. You have to again do the customization. And then finally, if you look at the roadmap of Cloud ALM, that's available on SAP public image. So what we are today is what is scoped in 2024 in Cloud ALM. I don't know if I can quickly get the link. Let me just read the roadmap link. So Rahul, I'll give you the roadmap link. So you can.
Yeah, just let me.
Yeah, I have this handy. So that is where we always say Cloud ALM is great, but we have built it much more ahead in the game as one platform for all editions of SAP, and especially for customers who are not on Solman, who are getting into the cloud side of it, and who really want to have a strategic DevOps approach. That is where ReleaseOwl can be very handy. So I have given the link in your Teams. Probably you can just share. So I will pick some of those things that we already have, which are scoped in 24 for Cloud ALM. Are you sharing the screen, Rahul?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, just give 1 minute somehow. Yeah. If you see here, for example, creation of transports in ABAP in the Q2 23 is coming up. If you can scroll down, we are in the Q2 23. Yeah, the creation of transports is scoped this time. That is coming up. And then scheduler for transports, then management of external transports, like we have user story link with your transports or your MTAR changes. If you can just click on the triangle button, the arrow, down arrow. Yeah. So what you have in Q3, for example, if you scroll down in not Q3, something that I just in Q4, let's say in Q4, so integration of test planning, in support for extensions are all available in Q4. And generally, you know how these timelines work. And then if you look at what is 24, you don't even know when they will come. If you scroll down, that is when actually they are announcing the CI/CD pipelines. Integrate CI/CD pipelines is coming up in 24. We already have it today up and running. And similarly, support for retrofit is coming up somewhere in 24, end of 24. We already have the retrofit. And the workflow integration for tasks and features, if you open that, that is also coming, approvals, adopting the status flow. What Cloud ALM has in 24, ReleaseOwl has it already, and you are all seeing it in action. So I just want that's where we are. So we'll go back. I think release pipeline is done. We'll minimize this.
So my deployment has been done in my integration account or my development account, and it has been moved to my quality account for the deployment, and it's asking the permission for the deployment in my quality system. So approve can go ahead and approve this, and then it will start to deploy my changes in my quality system. So this is my account that I have just deployed. Let's see. Let's quickly refresh this so that it will get updated. Yeah. So it updated. My application got updated in my development system, and in the similar way, it will get updated in my quality system as well. So meanwhile, any questions that we can take because the deployment will take some time.
just from a certification standpoint, while it runs, so we'll have, you can work with us in a couple of slots. It just takes half an hour, 20 questions, subject to type. Most of them, if you just connect once and just play around for an hour or so, you will be comfortable. I mean, they have made it really easy. Connect your Git repository, connect your BTP accounts. It takes 10 minutes and create your pipelines and just playing around. And certification is probably 30 minutes. It takes. But what it enables you is to start developing the vision for BTP DevOps. Oh, now you have BTP, MTAR files, then you will have CAP, and you'll have assets. You will have many things. And you want to mix with, tomorrow there may be a need to mix your on-prem transports with MTAR. So somewhere you need to get started on experiencing the BTP DevOps. And once you start getting familiarized with these aspects, then it will be much more easier for you to build vision on top of it. That is why if you can share a couple of, you can work with our success team for any couple of slots for taking the 30-minute certification test. So one of us will be available. So see if you are really stuck, you need some help, and finish, because product will take care of itself if the community is grown, community understands what we do, and community starts suggesting features and utilizing the platform for success, then product will take care of itself. That is why we give equal respect to the community as much as to the product. So if any one of you have, as we go into the next few weeks, if you settle down on a time that you want to take, then probably one of us will be available as well from success team. One of the success agent will be available just to help if you need something. So I think we will move on. I think this will complete. Rahul, we have deployed in one, it will deploy to all. In the interest of time, we have 15 minutes. So we will just move on.
Yeah.
So just focus on the audit trail and then, yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, in audit trail, you can go ahead and see how you have deployed. So which build you have deployed with the release pipeline, which account. So you can select the accounts. Let's say I want to see my production account and what has been deployed so far. Just let's say from yesterday, I want to see what got deployed. So here you can see once you submit it, you can see under which pipeline the production account got deployed, the latest builds. So let me select one, and here you can see the sprint one, demo one got deployed into my production account with my release pipeline. So this is how you can drill down your deployment section and see what got deployed in different environments with the audit trail. Okay.
And we can show the Jira as well, how it is updated.
Yeah. So Jira, as the initial commit said, we will not be having any commits. From the second build, we'll be able to see the commits under the Jira user story. So let me go ahead and show you.
You can share one of the stories, Rahul.
Yeah. So here we have the commit associated to the user story. As said, you can simply go ahead and add the commit ID. Once you have the commit message, just add the ID and the Jira user story ID in the commit ID, and you will pick the commit and add it under the user story. So this is how you can tag your commits to the Jira user story.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Jira story updates as well in Jira.
Yeah. So this is where the update is done. So as the commits have been not assigned to the user story, the Jira story updation has not done.
Oh, I mean, you can show how for various stories, how the updates happen. We're in running out of time. So just go to, you can in Jira, you can show how these, how for various stories, how we show, how the updates are. You can pick any story.
Okay. Okay. So we at the platform not only update the Jira story, but we also comment every action that you perform in ReleaseOwl. So whatever action that you perform will be commented in under the comment section. And here you can see different commits have been made under the commit section in the Jira story directly. Everyone.
Perfect. Thank you.
So this is how you can move your changes. It will also update the Jira story once it gets updated with the commits that are associated to the builds. So if once you trigger a release pipeline and the build has the commit ID associated to the user story, then it will update the user story under the user story updation task from the release pipeline directly. As we have not associated any commits to the user story, it's not updating, else it will update your user story. Yes, and then we have the dashboards where you can see the user story statuses, your builds which got triggered, and the deployments so far that you have made across your different accounts, the release build pipeline cycles, release cycles, and the test execution. If you have integrated with any test suits, then it will show you your everything at one place. So this is how you can create your builds and deploy your builds with the use of release pipeline by orchestrating your flow in ReleaseOwl.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Rahul.
Yeah.
So we will go back to Tanya to go through the remaining slides. I hope the session is helpful to you in terms of hands-on, how we do things. So how do we get started with the certification process? So you can log in. Yeah, let's move on. You can see the login, and then you have this section Get Certified, where you can click Get Certified, and so you can pick this one, SAP BTP Cloud DevOps Professional, and you have the relevant sections as table of contents once you log in, so that you can really quickly see the basic concepts without even going into the docs.releaseowl.com, without going to the entire documentation. Here you have the relevant section, relevant content for your certification available on the left-hand side in table of contents. And we will provide the voucher code in the email after this workshop. So you can enter that voucher code to take the certification exam. You see the blue button there, take certification exam now. So what you need is a BTP account. Tanya, we lost the screen. Yeah, please play it. And it's not in the presenter mode. Yeah, perfect. So you'll need a BTP account to access the playground. If you have a BTP account, the instructions are on the left-hand side. So please provide your email address. Probably in the chat, you can give us, if you already have a BTP account, please give your BTP account email address. So we will add you as ReleaseOwl users so that you can directly log into the application. So over the next 5 minutes, please enter your BTP account email address for us to add you as users on the playground for 3 months. Then once we activate you as users, you will get an email from us so that you can log in to ReleaseOwl application. The URL is also mentioned in this deck to access the platform. If you don't have a BTP account, there is a link that you can get a trial account. It's at no cost from SAP. So once you have the trial account, then give us the email for us to add you as users. And then you can start playing around. So we will wait for a minute for you to enter your email address so that we will capture. Can this be integrated with on-premise S4 Hana system to support DevOps with GCTS process? Absolutely, yes, 100% out of the box. If you want to experience that part, just pop us, just let us know, and we will enable the S4 Hana part of the ReleaseOwl as well. Thank you, Firoz, for the question. Please share your BTP account details, email ID, so that we will activate you as users. I'll just give another minute. Yeah, more questions coming in. Yeah, thanks, Firoz. Okay, next slide. Yeah, once you log in, you should see this link. You have a project created already. So you should be able to see the dashboard with the change management module, with the build module and the release module on your left-hand side of the pane. So with change management, you will be able to see user stories. You can create user stories also by yourself. And then build is where you create your build pipelines. Release is where you create your release pipelines. So once you log in, make your first build and spend 30 minutes on some of our questions. So you will be part of our certification program and it will be awarded. So absolutely all we are right now. Our goal is not to cost charge anyone. It is about letting people experience BTP DevOps and SAP DevOps, in fact, and get certified. So even if you want to experience other parts of ReleaseOwl and get certified, be it on the ECC S4 Hana or the CPI, so you are welcome. Success community is success@releaseowl.com is your email ID or any kind of communication that you would want to have to experience the product on the playground. It is all self-hosted and it's all available for you on your login. Next slide, please. This is the team that you will find them on LinkedIn as well. This is the team behind who is putting all this together. I think they went through last 10 days of rigorous planning to get this all in, handle all these registrations and split them into multiple sessions to be able to effectively handle this. The inflow was just overwhelming in terms of number of registrations that came in. So thank you, team. So yeah, we have a few minutes left for any questions, but otherwise we just want to keep it short, sweet, and productive for you. And if there are any last minute questions. Okay. Does ReleaseOwl depend on chart? No. ReleaseOwl is an independent product built on SAP BTP principles, and it has capabilities for packaging deployment, and we don't need Solman. And right now, we don't have plans to integrate with Solman because it just confuses the messaging around why ReleaseOwl is in the first place. Because our vision is to have a SaaS DevOps platform for SAP, which can independently be available for customers without lot of infrastructure installation requirements. Okay. There's one more chat question that came in. Okay, it is already answered. So as a next step, our team will reach out to you with the deck and the webinar recording for you to go through. And please, and as you start logging in with your ReleaseOwl account, just get certified the next month. And that would mean a big step in your careers as a BTP DevOps expert and a big step in the SAP DevOps initiative as well. Thank you. We are looking forward to have you on the platform. Thank you, Anurag, for your kind feedback. Okay, I think we can give back 10 minutes time. ReleaseOwl is simpler than what anybody can imagine. So we finished the workshop in 10 minutes shorter, which is great. You have 10 minutes back. And that means you should find it more comfortable to finish the certification in the next couple of weeks. Thank you, and hope to meet you again.
Yep.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, everyone.